Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And thank you guys for subscribing. We're blessed enough to have an interview with Bigfoot researcher Charlie Raymond. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm great. How are you?
Introduce yourself to the viewers, and you're part of a Bigfoot research and people that are from Kentucky, right? Same as me.
Yeah. I've been doing it for 3 decades. I formed the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization in 1997. To date, I've documented over 300 eyewitness accounts from very credible witnesses like law enforcement, park rangers. You can go to my website, KentuckyBigfoot.com, and you can listen to video testimony from the actual witness. And I want to prove their existence to protect them. We are a non-kill group. I don't want to kill one. And people ask me, well, how or why are you going to protect them? And my answer is always, we need to protect their habitat. They're doing just fine. We don't have to worry about them. But we are encroaching on their territory. We are destroying forests. There's a research area in Bullitt County, Kentucky, where Amazon came in and leveled thousands of acres of trees. And if you look at all over Kentucky, that's happening with neighborhoods and shopping centers and interstates and gas pipelines and you name it, we're destroying the forests. So pretty soon, I would imagine in the next 100 years, they're going to go extinct in Kentucky.
Have you ever seen like footprints and stuff like live in person?
Yeah, and a lot of times, I'm 3+ miles back in the woods, and I don't carry plaster because it's heavy, and I get great tracks. I take pictures, but pictures don't do them justice. And I missed a lot because of that. But my specialty is mainly in interviewing witnesses. Witness testimony is admissible in court. It puts people in jail. And so witness testimonies is a key component of Bigfoot research, because with the witnesses, we can understand their behaviors. We can put a pin on a map and understand where they live. So that's my specialty. Other people like Tom Shea, he specializes in tracks. So every researcher tends to have their niche. And I tend to be with the witness interviewing and documentation of their reports. So I post them on my website, but I also have a private map of, oh my gosh, hundreds of sightings that I don't post publicly for 2 reasons. One, I kind of keep it private. It's my honey hole. It's my fishing spot where I don't know about. Also, some witnesses do not want their sighting known publicly. So, I respect their wishes and I don't post it.
Yeah. Has there been any sightings I've heard of people seeing them here in Knott County before. I don't know if you've ever heard of any sightings here in Knott County. You ain't gotta say any names, but just have you heard of anybody seeing Bigfoot here in Knott County?
What are the counties? What are you next to? Tell me.
Letcher County, Pike County, Floyd County,
Yeah.
Perry County.
Yeah. I got reports in the neighboring counties, but I will say this: Eastern Kentucky, you know this. A lot of people are protective of their land. They don't want trespassers, hunters, media snooping around their property. So I've found that the witnesses in Eastern Kentucky, they don't want to come forward. They don't want their sighting to be known publicly because of trespassers, also because of ridicule. I've noticed a lot of people there like, don't mention my name, don't make fun of me. And however, in Western Kentucky, it seems to be just more prevalent. People come forward more often, and I'm able to document more sightings in Western Kentucky. It doesn't mean there's more Bigfoot in Western Kentucky. They're in every county, basically. there's no doubt. I've got reports in almost every county. And, Eastern Kentucky, you've got large mountains and areas where they can retreat to, and you don't have as many sightings because humans aren't there to have a sighting. You have to have two things. You have to have a Bigfoot and you have to have a human to have a sighting. Well, in Eastern Kentucky, in those mountains there, a lot of people don't go up in those mountains and those hollers. It's too much. It's too much work. So you don't have as many sightings, in those areas that are documented. But I do believe they're everywhere. I just hope more people will come forward in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, man, they're definitely here in Eastern Kentucky for sure. This is definitely good Squatch land.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I took a couple reports there. I'll tell you one I took. It was in Carter County, which is kind of Eastern Kentucky. It was like a Friday night. There was a storm, and a guy said he was coming around a corner, and a Bigfoot crossed in front of his vehicle and went up this embankment, and it stuck out its arm and grabbed this tree. And when it did, this long reddish brown hair came down off its arm, and it went up the embankment. And, I got my vehicle that night. I drove out there that night, and I met him the next morning and interviewed him, very credible witness. But the reddish brown is the predominant color in Kentucky. We get reports of black and gray and even white, especially white ones in Carter County too. However, reddish brown was the one he saw, and he was a very credible witness.
Yeah, that's definitely an amazing story right there, man. There is, I say there's 100, if not thousands, of stories just like that, just here in Kentucky.
Yeah, there's I got so many of them, and I'm trying to think of some of the ones that are a little bit more hair raising. I got a report. This was in Anderson County, which has the most sightings, of a hunter. It was daytime, late afternoon, and he observes two Bigfoot run across the field. I mean, I would say, I think it was 50, 60 yards from him, and he's watching them in the scope. And I said, well, how come you didn't shoot him? Which I'm glad he didn't. I don't want him to shoot one. He said, you know what? It caught me by surprise. I'm trying to wrap my brain around, what am I looking at? And then I'm thinking, what if these are people, in costumes? And I'm looking to hunt a deer. I'm not looking to kill these things. And by the time you know it, they're gone. But he said the first one was about 8 foot, almost black in color. The second one was closer to 6 foot, like a coyote gray. And the unique thing was they crossed about 100 yards in 10 seconds. And 3 times when they crossed that field, on three occasions, they twisted at the hip and looked behind them. Like something was after them, I don't know what's chasing them, but most likely, humans or hunters or something, spooked them. But he said they twisted 3 times at the hip like Patty, and that was pretty good sighting, a very credible witness. He's told his story in person. He's come to one of our expeditions as a guest, and he told that entire story to everybody at the expedition, which was a real treat.
Yeah, man, that has been one of my, I don't know if you ever remember that show that was on Animal Planet. It was that Bigfoot show where they hunted Bigfoot.
What do you mean, Finding Bigfoot?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows growing up, man. So I love talking about Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens. Do you think that, speaking of that, do you think there's connection between aliens and Bigfoot?
I do not. And I talk about this in my book. There have been UFO reports where there's been Bigfoot reports. But if you study statistics and you study the difference between correlation and causation. Correlation means you got two things happening like at the same time. It doesn't mean one caused the other. Okay, just because you got UFOs and Bigfoots in the same area, it doesn't mean a Bigfoot, landed off the mothership. It's more, like I said, it's correlation. It's not causation. Causation would be if you actually saw it. If you saw the Bigfoot come off the spaceship, then you got proof. There's not many witnesses. I've never taken a witness like that who's seen the UFO and the Bigfoot, but I believe these things are flesh and blood. It's a hominid that's not gone extinct, has adapted over thousands of years. Their senses are much more keen than our senses. They're the ninjas of the forest, and we got evidence of other hominids. In the last 50,000 years, we have a record of 7 different hominids on this planet, the fossils. We're, us being one of them. So 50,000 years is not that long ago to have 7 different hominids. I believe Bigfoot is another hominid. We've got thousands of reports each year from credible witnesses. And like Don Neal says, Don Neal is a researcher in my organization. He's an ordained minister. He researches Bigfoot at night and he preaches the gospel by day. His quote is, "Not everybody is a drunken liar." More people have more to lose than they have to gain when they come forward. They get ridiculed. Their job is at stake, wherever they work. A lot of people don't want to come forward with that kind of information, but the ones who believe it and they don't care, I know what I saw, and they'll take it to their grave. Those people there, when you interview them, man, I get goosebumps. I get to live vicariously through them. And I just enjoy it. I mean, I just love documenting the reports, and they spend sometimes, 1 to 2 hours on the phone with me. They'll meet me in person, not for financial gain, not for notoriety or attention. They just do it because they're glad that somebody believes them. And when I'm done interviewing them, they thank me. They say, "Thank you. I really appreciate you listening and not laughing at me."
Yeah, you got a YouTube, don't you? With your research group has a YouTube and your Facebook page is actually how I found you on there.
Yeah, our Facebook and the YouTube, we are posting more and more. We're trying to research in terms of doing expeditions and investigations. But on my YouTube channel, I have a lot of witness testimony. And I just posted one the other day, a couple of weeks ago, actually, of a gentleman who had a Bigfoot sighting in Tennessee. And he came on my expedition and he agreed to let me videotape him. But if you'd like to listen to him and some of these other individuals, it's far better than reading it and me typing it. To hear them and look at their eyes and see their emotions and see their expressions, it's a much better way, I think, to listen to their encounter. So, KentuckyBigfoot.com, go to the video section, you'll find my YouTube channel, and we're trying to post more on there. I'm just real busy. I'm trying to dedicate more time to it.
Yeah. And you can definitely send me the links to YouTube and Facebook, and I'll put it in the description when I post this video tonight.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you being on. But yeah, man, do you think any of them would, any of the people that have experience seeing Bigfoot and stuff would do a podcast interview?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would. A lot of people like to talk about it. Now, if I've already interviewed them once and other people have interviewed them, sometimes they get sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've already done this type thing. But you never know, unless you ask them.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you never know. It's definitely fun to talk about, man. There's definitely some really, really great evidence of Bigfoot being real. I would say there's probably 90 in my opinion, a 92% chance that Bigfoot's real with the evidence that we've seen so far.
Yeah, you know who Ken Gerhardt is, right?
Yeah.
The black hat. He's on a lot of the Bigfoot shows. He has a really good quote. He says, of the thousands of Bigfoot reports each year, if only one of those is accurate, Bigfoot exists. And like I said, there's far too many people that are coming forward, risking ridicule and their jobs, and they have everything to lose and nothing to gain. Most witnesses, even the witnesses you see on TV, those documentaries, they don't get paid. I guarantee you, every single witness on Finding Bigfoot was not paid. I can promise you that. And to go on national TV, think about that. If you go on national TV and you say you had a Bigfoot sighting, everybody's going to laugh at you and make fun of you. But these people, they don't care. They know what they saw. They stand behind it. And that's what gets me. I cannot believe all these hundreds of thousands of people are lying.
Yeah. Have you, I know you've seen that video. Wasn't it back in the 70s or 80s? It's the most famous video of Bigfoot, where he was walking in the woods and stuff, like up close, like really close.
Yeah,
What is that video
you're talking
called?
about the Patterson-Gimlin footage, 1967, Bluff Creek, California. Yeah, that video is still the gold standard of videos. It's never been debunked. It's got more support for it now than ever before. And you can go on and on about it, do your own research, Google it, look it up. That's a legit Bigfoot right there. That's a female Sasquatch. She wasn't very big. I think she was 6'5" or something. She wasn't even 7 foot tall. She left tracks, which her tracks are smaller than the male's tracks. A lot of researchers know this, but the males leave the large tracks. The females have much smaller feet. So of course her tracks are smaller. But yeah, that video has been analyzed by a lot of experts to be legit.
Yeah, it's definitely an impressive video.
Yeah, and I've got pictures from Kentucky from game cameras, which I cannot post because they asked me not to, because they don't want the media, they don't want hunters or trespassers, and they don't want to be ridiculed, so I cannot post them. I've got some amazing game cam photos I wish I can share. And some of these people, I've offered non-disclosure, I've offered money, I baked them brownies. I did everything I could to get a hold of these pictures and let me post them, and they won't let me, but even copyright them under their name, and they still won't let me do it. But these are amazing pictures, and it's not because it's a hoax. If anything, if it was a hoax, they'd put it out there, to get money or something. Think about that. If it was a hoax, oh yeah, here, you're going to pay me? You're going to give me $1,000 here? Sure. Why not? They don't want to do that. They're more protective of their land, and some of them are protective of the Bigfoot. They're more worried about hunters coming in and shooting them. So they don't want the picture out there. But man, I got some amazing pictures, and I wish I could share them, but I can't. And there's something I wanted to talk about, which is a little disheartening. It does not matter now with all the hoaxes. If we get the best video out there, people are going to claim it's been, hoaxed and, photoshopped or done, Adobe Premiere or edited somehow. Nobody's going to believe it. If you get DNA, and there's DNA from Kentucky and the Erickson Project, they did a 5-year study of 3 Sasquatch. They got amazing DNA. And it was collected by a PhD, an environmental biologist. Her name was Layla. She collected that DNA. She knew the right way to collect it. She sent it off to the lab with over 100 other samples from around the world. and everyone came back contaminated because it had human DNA in it. And that's bullshit. That DNA is true. I believe a lot of it was collected the right way, and there is some human DNA in Bigfoot. I believe they're closely related to us, and the academic community does not want to accept that. They have their own theories and their textbooks and their lectures and what they've already discussed in terms of evolution and what they think this thing is. And this does not fit their, theories. And it's a shame because I believe a lot of this DNA was collected correctly, and it's all coming back with Homo sapien on the mother's side, which I believe is true. I believe we bred with some other unknown hominid, some relic hominid, just like we discovered a couple of years ago, Neanderthals bred with Homo sapiens. We just learned that just a couple of years ago. We don't know everything. So I believe there's another hominid that we have plenty of evidence for that has bred with Homo sapiens at some point. And that's what you see now. You see a highly advanced creature with a high environmental IQ. I need to coin that term. I came up with that myself. A high environmental IQ, meaning it's adapted over thousands of years to walk quietly and move stealthily and know that we're there and we're dumb humans. We use technology like, cell phones and TVs and hearing aids and loud stereos, and everything that we use hurts our senses and makes us at a disadvantage. So our senses are getting worse where theirs are getting better. So when we get out of the truck, they know you're there. You're not going to sneak up on them. So, give it up. But with that being said, there is a way that works. And I've proven this through my expeditions, through my own research. The thing that works the best is you play on their curiosity. They're very curious. So if you go out there, you act normal, you laugh, you sing, you cook food, they want to come see what we're doing. So we've had amazing interactions by doing that, just acting normal, no camo, no guns, no flashlights. And I've had many encounters where they've come close. And I will tell you this, and I'll tell everybody this, I'm a big chicken. When they've gotten too close, I leave. I know how big they are. And one of these days I'm going to hold my ground and I'm going to see one. I did think I saw two about a year ago at a distance. I wasn't 100%. It was a good distance away, but they're black, dark figures, about 100 yards, and they crossed a creek. We searched both sides. There's no trucks, no hunters. It's a remote area, middle of the day. It was kind of winter time actually, but they're completely black. They had no orange on. They looked like two Sasquatch crossing a creek, but I can't say for certain those were Bigfoot. But anyway, it's just a fun hobby. I do enjoy it, and you meet great people when you go squatching. You meet some wonderful people, great friends. I put on about 2 expeditions a year. Now I'm adding more. I got another one coming up. I think it's September 30th, October 1st to the 3rd. It's 3 days, 3 nights. If you go to my website, KentuckyBigfoot.com, you can click the link and read about it if you're interested in joining that expedition. And then I have another one coming up next weekend, which is, let me see, I think it's June 26th. June 26th in London, Kentucky. We're doing a Bigfoot dinner and presentation. So I'll give a presentation, multimedia. I'll have some Bigfoot evidence, some casts, and so forth. And I'll talk about the latest research. I'll show those pictures. I'm allowed to show the pictures in my presentation from those game cameras. I don't let people take pictures of them, but I'll show you some amazing photos and some audio from Kentucky. fantastic audio I've captured during my presentations. The dinner is provided by a Sauced restaurant. It's an Italian restaurant. It's going to provide the dinner. It's only $25. So you get dinner, you get a Bigfoot presentation, and we still have some spots open for that. You go to my website, KentuckyBigfoot.com, to sign up. The hunt afterwards is full. We're going out in the Daniel Boone National Forest for 4 hours. Unfortunately, we have filled that up. But if you're interested in the dinner, I encourage you to join us.
Yeah, have you actually heard like a Bigfoot like scream and stuff and like growl and knock?
Heard it all. I've heard it all, and amazing time. I'll tell you this, it does not happen all the time, and people think, like I said, I've been doing it for over 3 decades. I will tell you, less than 20 times in over 3 decades have I had a really close encounter. That's not much. Over 30 years, maybe 20 times, I've had really, really close encounters where they come close and I run. That's not a lot. So it's probability. It's getting off the couch, going to areas where there's Bigfoot reports, being smart. Don't carry, I know you got to carry a gun for people and animals and stuff, but don't wear camo. Just hike and have a good time and try some tree knocks. Multiple knocks work best. Knocks with whoops work best. Knocks and whistles work good. Any combinations work really good. And maybe you might get one coming close and start knocking or whistling back or whooping back to you. And like I tell people too, worst case scenario, you have a great day in the woods, hiking and enjoying nature. It's icing on the cake if you get a Bigfoot interaction.
Yeah. And has there been a sighting in Perry County?
Yeah, I'm thinking Perry. There was one. I'm confusing that with Perryville.
Oh, I know where Perryville is too. Do you know where that Civil War battlefield is in Perryville? I've been there before.
Well, that's where I'm thinking there's a Bigfoot sighting. There's some Boy Scouts, and they were playing hide and seek, and one of the scouts bent over to tie his shoe, and he said he saw this creature that looked like an Ewok from Star Wars. Just a small, young, juvie Bigfoot. He said the best thing I can describe it as is an Ewok from Star Wars. Real furry, short. And of course, when he made eye contact with it, he ran, caught up with his friends. But that guy told me that. He's a grown man now. He said, that's back when I was a young boy. But he decided to call me up and tell me that story. But I believe that's in Perryville, Kentucky.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'll definitely be interested in interviewing people from your research team. And also, if witnesses wanted to do an interview, we could do that too, if they wanted to.
Yeah. You can just have to contact them and see if they, they want to. Sometimes they get tired of it.
Yeah, I could understand that, telling the same story about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, tell the people about your social medias and stuff for your Bigfoot research team.
Yeah, you can get to our Facebook through the website, KentuckyBigfoot.com. The main thing that I do these interviews for and everything I've ever done is to gather witness testimony. So I encourage anybody listening, if you have had a Bigfoot report or know somebody that's had a sighting, please go to KentuckyBigfoot.com, click on submit report. It's a little form you fill out. It's real simple. Your name, We don't use your full name. We don't post your email, or we don't post your phone number, nothing personal. We just use your first name. We will contact you. We must contact you because we need to do a follow-up just for some questions and make sure it's legit. And then we will post it on the website. If you don't want to use your name, you may remain anonymous. So don't be afraid to come forward and just say, I'd like to remain anonymous. Because here's the good thing, when you post your report, it also goes on our not only our website, but also our social media. Other people will see that. They'll go, hey, that's where I live. I saw Bigfoot around the same time. And it's like a snowball effect. You know, all of a sudden more reports come in. That happened to me a few years ago in Henry County. I don't know who came first. It was Bruce or Leonette. Anyway, one of them had a sighting. I posted it. In the same week, the other person contacts me. They had a sighting less than a mile away, same night. And I forgot it was 30, 45 minutes away from the first sighting on time. And we tracked it. We were like, okay, that's probably the same Bigfoot that he saw. She saw it. And then the next morning, a mother and daughter saw it crossing a road in the same vicinity. So we have 3 eyewitnesses who don't know each other, all came forward because, you know, one person decided to go forward with their report. So I really encourage people to, you know, share their story. It really helps us with our research.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'll post the link in the description of your Facebook and YouTube page.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
This has been the interview with Bigfoot researcher Charlie Raymond. I want to thank him for doing the podcast. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Definitely go like his Facebook page and definitely go to their website if you have witnessed Bigfoot. And yeah, and you should definitely subscribe to YouTube as well. Y'all have a good night and God bless.